Hello, Biology 105 students. This is Elizabeth Bamer, and I will be your instructor for the lab portion of your Biology 105 class. This class or this lab will be completely online. We do have synchronous meeting times set up, but for the most part, this lab will be completely online asynchronous because I have all the lab recordings recorded ahead of time. So how this class will kind of be laid out, or the lab itself, because you'll need to get really familiar with Canvas. Especially what I like to use is on your home screen, you'll see these modules set up. And I have kind of an introductory getting started module where I do my welcome video. There's a who am I discussion where I get to know you a little bit. There's the syllabus, a syllabus quiz. And then there's information on how to use Proctorio, which is an artificial intelligence testing system that I've used in the past and many instructors use, that basically will record your screen and record your face to make sure you're just looking at the screen at all the time when you're taking quizzes and exams. And there's information on how to use Proctorio here and how to download the extension using Google Chrome. And then there's a little Proctorio practice quiz to make sure you're using it correctly. This is my office hours Zoom link. I will hold office hours on Thursdays at 10 a.m. Please let me know if you plan to come to those hours, because sometimes I won't stay logged in for the whole hour if no one shows up. So if you are planning to come to that, just let me know. And then this is a link to all of the recorded labs. So when you click this, I might have to click the top gray bar, but it'll give you the playlist that I've made from a couple semesters ago of all the recorded lab recordings. So what this playlist will have is kind of an introduction to the different labs. And you don't have all of the lab information in Canvas yet, but you'll see here for lab 1, the scientific method and the metric system, start this video around minute 24 if you want to kind of bypass all the introductory things, because this was when I made it in a different semester. So I kind of combined my welcome video with it. But it still has lots of great information, and I set up my course the same way. So it still really applies. Some of the dates and times might be off throughout the syllabus, but if you want to skip over all the welcome stuff, especially for week 1, lab 1, start it at about minute 24, and that'll get you right to the scientific method and the metric system, which is our first lab. But if we go back to the home screen in the module section, there's a Proctorio practice quiz, my office hours Zoom link, the link to all the recorded labs. All of the things in here, basically 3 simple, assignments, the discussion and 2 quizzes, are all due by Sunday, the 28th at midnight. I really like to start my weeks for this course on Monday morning, and then all of your assignments will be due on Sunday at midnight. So you'll always have like a lab worksheet due and a quiz from the previous lab due on Sunday at midnight. Differences is ours ends on a Saturday, December 10th. So all of your assignments for the last module will be due on Saturday, December 10th. So then I set up each week for each lab. So for example, this is lab 1, the scientific method and the metric system, and this is all due Sunday, August 28th at midnight. There's the scientific method and metric system lab guide, which will help kind of guide you through the material that you'll need to learn and study for this week. And again, click on the link to the recorded labs to watch the lab 1 video. And again, start it at about minute 24. And then this is the scientific method and metric system worksheet that you'll need to download, and then type in your answers, fill it in, and then you'll submit it under here. So it'll allow you to submit a file upload of a Word document under this Submit Lab 1 worksheet here, and it should have the due date, the correct due date of August 28th. And again, that'll always be a Sunday at midnight. So that's how each week will work. The only difference is you'll also have a quiz that's due the following week. And this quiz, it won't show you the answers. It'll be timed. It'll be using Proctorio, so you'll need to download that extension. You should never need an access code. So if Proctorio is downloaded on your computer correctly, it should never ask you for an access code. It should always just open the quiz up. If it does, it usually means Proctorio is blocked for you. How I'll do these quizzes is the due date will always be the Sunday after your lab worksheet is due. So if you get your lab worksheet back and you realized you made a lot of mistakes or you didn't understand it, come see me in my office hours and we'll get you ready to take the quiz. That'll be due the following Sunday. I keep the quiz available. It's open already for you to take. You only have one time to take it though, and it's using Proctorio, so just keep that in mind. So that's kind of the basic kind of how we set up lab. You'll always have, a lab guide, a worksheet, and then an area to submit the worksheet, and then a quiz that'll be due the following Sunday after the worksheet is due. Usually under each module, I offer a lot of extra help links as well. You'll see there's a lot for this first one because we're talking about basic scientific method and the metric system. So that you'll see a new kind of lab published every week. You cannot see these yet, but I already have lab 2, lab 3. All the labs are ready to go, but I won't publish them probably until Monday morning of the new week for that. Those are kind of your only assignments to do for lab, a worksheet and a quiz every week. But you will have a final cumulative lab exam, and I'll usually leave it open for about a week to take. It'll be all multiple choice, labeling, matching. It'll also be using Proctorio. So that's kind of where we get your total points. And that's kind of how we'll do lab. I just want to take you through a little bit of the syllabus. So this should be the section number that you're in. All course materials will be delivered remotely using Canvas asynchronously. And that's because I have all the lab recordings recorded already. However, I do leave our synchronous class time open for any time you need to check in or ask me questions. Here's my information, my office hour, my Zoom office hour link. Office hours represent the time that's specifically set aside to help you. So please come to my office hours if you have any question. This is a human biology kind of introductory course. So normally you take this before you'll take anatomy. So it's a really helpful course to get you ready for anatomy and physiology, especially if you're going into the healthcare related field. Here are the student learning outcomes. What you need is internet and a computer with a webcam to use Proctorio. So you must have internet. I don't offer any makeups or extensions. So please make sure you have a webcam on your computer as well as internet. We provide all the course materials for you. So you don't need a lab manual at all because I provide kind of that lab guide and lab worksheet for each week. These are important dates if you need to drop anything. It's your job to drop the class and to verify those dates. And then your final grade for this lab will be calculated as follows. There's about 10, 15 points in syllabus quiz. These points are, best estimates. Proctorio quiz, the lab activities, about 10 points each week. And then the lab quizzes, about 20 points, 10 to 20 points each week. And the final cumulative lab exam. If you're within 0.5% of the next letter grade, like 90, 89.5%, that will be considered for rounding, but that decision is up to the discretion of the instructor. Again, class format, this will meet asynchronously. Each new lab material will be published every Monday in Canvas under the module section, and each lab worksheet and quiz from the previous week's lab will be due each Sunday at midnight with a cumulative lab final. Here are the lab activities. It's what'll be nice, if you do these lab activities, you'll be able to type in your answers for most of them. Some might be helpful if you can print off, draw, and then scan them back in, or if you're on a tablet, maybe you can draw in right on the screen. We're not going to be really implementing group work this semester. That was from a previous semester, but please, please, please watch the welcome video for any other questions. And again, the syllabus says groups are expected to meet, but I will not be assigning you to groups this semester. Quizzes will be using Proctorio. I will always provide a basic calculator and whiteboard to take notes. So you'll have a calculator and whiteboard present to take these quizzes. And I usually keep them open and they're just due the following Sunday with the cumulative lab final. Let's see, what else? Keys to success: be present. This is more of an asynchronous course, but if you have any questions, let me know right away ahead of time and I'll be happy to help you. We can either meet during our synchronous class time or during my office hours. You will need to devote time to this lab as well. Choose the honest route. Don't get into any cheating or copying people's work. I promise you, it'll serve you much better in the long run if you learn this material now. If you do have any sort of disability or need extra time for a quiz or exam, because the quizzes are timed, please get in contact with the DSPS offices, and then they'll let me know of any sort of accommodation you might need for increased testing time. You can form a study group here, so to kind of know each other in that open introductory discussion. Feel free to message people and say, hey, do you guys want to study together, or do you want to compare notes? Feel free to form a group. You know, if you guys want to do your worksheets together every week, I'm totally all for that. But I'm not going to force you to do that. In the past, I forced my students to make a lab group, and that was a little hard to do online because some of you are very busy, have families, and would rather work alone. But if you would like to form a group and do your lab worksheets together, that's totally fine. You do need to do all lab quizzes by yourself. And then this is our lab schedule on the following page. Again, we'll do about a lab a week, and I provided you with all the materials for doing the lab. And then, so the worksheet for each lab is due by that Sunday, and then you'll have a quiz on that lab material due the following Sunday. So each Sunday, you will have a worksheet due, and you'll have a quiz due from the following week's lab. So it's a great way to keep you guys kind of just make sure you're doing the work every week and not getting lost in an online class. So you do have to do your work every week. With the final kind of exam being a cumulatory laboratory final exam, just a note that I use a lot of questions from your quizzes on this cumulatory lab exam final. So pay attention to your quizzes and the questions in your quizzes, because you might see them again on this cumulatory lab exam final. So with that, I'll pause the video, but I look forward to seeing you guys in an office hour. Please message me with any questions. Look for some more announcements, weekly announcements, as well as potential Zoom links to meet during our official synchronous class time. But those meetings will be non-mandatory because I have everything recorded ahead of time as well. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.